Hello, Mr. Randy Duck, and welcome back for another video. This time I have two replays to show you in the Tier 8 American Premium Tank Destroyer, the Demolisher T28. Now, before I get on with the replays, just want to let you know the first replay, unfortunately, it didn't record properly, so it doesn't have any sound, but the second replay does have the sound as normal, so hopefully you can bear with. But we are on Himmelsdorf. We are bottom tier and we are platooned up with Swindle and Petty. Now the Demolisher, although it's not really my sort of tank, if I'm honest, just because it's quite slow. Basically slow TDs are not really, I'm not really a fan of, just because I get a little bit bored. But having said that, it does feel like quite a decent tank since it's buff. It's got the 3-shot autoloader, 320 alpha per shot, so 960 clip potential, and the armour is fairly decent since the buff. Against tier 10s, and this, your armour is going to struggle a bit, but against tier 8s, you can bounce the odd shots. So we're on Himmelsdorf, we're looking for our first bits of damage. We've seen an opportunity to get one into the Scorpion. We do manage to get 2 shots in, and then we ricocheted one off of our gun. But the enemy team just seem to be pushing quite strongly across the banana. So I need to back up into a bit of a hold down position so I can try and get some shots in when they pop out in the open. I do have Swindle with me in the stern, and hopefully between us we might be able to get a few shots in, but I am going to struggle to pen that mouse. I try and get one in for the lower plate. I do get one in for the lower plate. Unfortunately the third one doesn't hit true, so we only managed to get 1 shot in there in return. But we sort of won the 1-2 line, so I'm trying to back into this corner here, into this window, so I can keep protected. The problem is there is a medium tank behind me which could potentially shoot me through the window, but I don't really have a lot of choice at the moment. I hope my team take that medium out so I can concentrate on what is in front of me. We was looking for a shot on the lower plate there, but the angle, I was thinking, I'm going to wait to see if he turns side on, and then I might be able to pen these shots. We don't get the first one in, but we do manage to get the second 2 shots, and now we're going to try and reverse back into cover. Now this tank, one of the things which I do like, it's got 2 fast and furious racing stripes on the front. So yeah, a bit of a novelty, but I do actually quite like the camo on this tank. This KV4, we're looking for a shot. We're going to go through the cupola, but then we want to see if we can track him in place. But he gets dragged in place by a Swindle anyway, so we're going to try and dump our clip. Unfortunately, we don't get the finish, but we do get another 2 shots in, putting this up to about 2,500 damage. But there we get shot straight through the window by that Conqueror, which is leaving me in an awkward situation. I really need my team to push that Conqueror. He does get taken out, thankfully, so now I can use this window again, because I need to use this position to keep myself safe from the enemy team in that banana. And yeah, I'm in an awkward situation because I have a T95 and an E4 in front of me. So is this, if E4 is pushing me, I'm thinking this is probably going to be the end of my game at this point. I'm just looking to see if I can track him in place. Unfortunately, I don't quite have the shot, and now I'm thinking, yeah, this is all over for me. But then thankfully he bounces his shot somehow, so I track him in place. He gets slammed by Swindle, and now I just really want someone to finish before he reloads. I did damage his ammo rack, and if he hasn't repaired that, then maybe I got a chance of staying alive. Unfortunately, I haven't got any shots to get the penned, but thankfully Swindle comes to my rescue, slaps him in the side, and we somehow manage to survive that engagement. I then get shot though in the back by another Conqueror, which is left me on a 1-shot with 45 hit points. So I'm a 1-shot to anything in the game now. So I'm going to need to get out of that window so I don't get penned by that Conqueror again. Thankfully, we have sort of won this road now. We've destroyed the threat, and the majority of the enemy team are now on the hill, and and there's a few scattered tanks behind us like this T32. I'm going to try and push this tank with Swindle because he's got full health. Obviously I can't take a shot, so I really need Swindle to go first, as he can eat a shot off of him, and then we should be able to together take out this tank who is a little bit distracted. We do get one in, and then he gets slapped by Swindle in the Sturm Tiger. In that, yeah, so putting us on to about just shy of 4,000 damage and 400 assistance. And we've turned this game around. You know, at one point I was thinking it's going to be a loss. It's still not won yet though, but we have got the tank advantage on 7v5. I know there's a few tanks on the hill, so I'm a bit risking it here. If I do get spotted crossing, now I could get shot from the hill, so I need to try and use these buildings, try and back up behind these buildings to protect me. But I want to try and deal with that conqueror in front of us. But again, we are on a one shot. But thankfully, you know, the waffle is full health, so the waffle can push and, you know, and eat a shot and then allow us to, you know, just deal with this conqueror. So I'm going to push in with the waffle and see if we can get a little bit more damage out of this game. The concrete, yeah, he's pretty surrounded at the moment, but I am a little bit nervous, as I say, getting shot by the hill, but I want to push for the rest for the damage. The Conqueror just pokes out. Unfortunately, Swindle does get shot down by the Barras on the hill, but the Barras has now shot 2. And I went for the kill shot, and I just fluff that, and it goes into the track, but it doesn't pen. Thankfully, our friendly Barras does take him out, but it's a shame we didn't manage to pick up that kill. But that has put us on to 4,000 damage, 2 tanks remaining. One of which is the T92 Fun Police, and the other is the Barras, who we know last known location was on the hill. So I'm looking to see if we can get any shots in, because our friendly TD is pushing the hill. If they spot them, I might be able to get a few shots in on their escape. You see, I was targeted there, looking to see if we can get a shot in. The Barras has been spotted. I'm going to try and get a shot, see if we can get one in. We get a lovely shot in, leaving them on a one shot, go for the kill, but we just fluffed that. Maybe need to wait like 1 more second. We might have been able to get that kill. Unfortunately, we don't. And at this point, it's not the quickest of tanks. Seems unlikely I'm going to get to the Barras in time, but we're going to try and head over that way just in case, so we can pick up a little bit extra damage in the kill. Because I don't think, unfortunately, we've got any kills in this game yet at this point. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident that we are going to get the win in this scenario, but you never know. So we've got to head that way anyway to try and get the damage. But he's getting pushed and sandwiched by our friendly Barras and TD, who they do take him out, and that brings them then to replay number 1. So we scored the MVP. We got 4,000 damage, a little bit of assistance. Unfortunately, we don't get the ace, mainly because we didn't get any kills to multiply that XP. But that is it for replay number 1. One more replay to come, so I'll see you over there in a bit. Okay, so here we are for replay number 2. We are top tier in this engagement. We have 1 enemy fun police to contend ourselves with, and 3 enemy light tanks, which, yeah, it's not ideal. But at least we're on a map which isn't that big, so hopefully we'll be able to get into a brawl, as quick as we can, and not have to chase the damage around too much. So we're going to head to the sort of rocks in the middle of the map, the top left. We're not going to go and play the outside because we don't have any side armour. It's got a big engine deck for the fun police to shoot at us. I'd rather try and play an area where maybe I can get into a little bit of brawl with the heavies. Like I say, the armour is fairly decent when you are top tier, so we can do a little bit of brawling. And one thing I do like about this tank is the gun's actually pretty good, because you've got a 960 clip potential, but the reload you can get down to around sort of 17 seconds or something like that, so you don't feel like you're out of the game that long, in regards to your using your gun. Obviously when you're trying to chase the damage, it's not ideal because it's not that fast. It's not ridiculously slow. It's not like playing an E3 or something like that, but it does feel a little bit sluggish, this tank. But we're going to try and go around and see if we can get any early damage. Unfortunately, before we've even got into the fight, before we've even got there, we have already lost 3 tanks, which then goes down to 4 tanks. We're 4 tanks down already, and we haven't actually even got to fire a round at this point. But we're going to try and move around and see what we can spot. We spot this Emil 1 out in the open, which is great. We're hoping to get our first clip in, try and pen all the shots. And we do, and we don't eat any in return, so we do get a full clip in, and then we'll just on reload. And like I say, it doesn't feel like you're reloading for that long. I've popped the food, so I'm going to try and decrease that reload, and now I'm going to start to make my push, because it looks like a lot of the enemy team have sort of full sent into a cap circle. So I want to try and clear these tanks out in front of me as quickly as I possibly can do. Hopefully if I can go around and get a shot in to when we finish off the meal. But then this 50 TP comes around. We're going to try and get one into track, so we can track him in place. We're going to be able to get our next shot in. We double track him, and he's sort of tracked in place there with the enemy tanks going behind him, and we pick up a little bit of assistance for good measure for that track damage. I mean, that's one thing you always sort of want to do when you've got these 3-shot autoloaders, is to try and get shots into the track where you can, where possible, if you're going to be able to track and pen them. So we've evened up the scores. We're only 1 tank down now, and we've won the top zone. So I'm going to keep pushing because I can look at where the enemy team are, and hopefully I can try and get behind the tanks which have gone towards our base. The enemy fun police is running, so it's a good indication that there's not a lot to my left. But I'm going to ignore the fun police for now, leave that for my friendly teammates, because I want to try and get in and help my team who are fighting towards our base and try and get behind these teams, because it's still a fairly even game. We can see the Stone Cold there. Unfortunately, unless if I high roll, then I might be able to clip him out, but I would have to high roll. It's unlikely I'm going to finish him, to be honest with you, with a clip. But I want to try and get a few the shots in as I can, because that is one of the more dangerous tier 8 tanks. So we get 1 in, we get 2 in, we're looking to try and get the 3rd in. Unfortunately, I just struggle with the gun depression a bit there, and I fluff that shot. So we are going to have to go back on reload, but we picked up 3,000 damage, and we're just waiting for the reloads before we can see if we can just poke over and try and take out this the big top in front of us. Should be able to take out the big top. We get 2 shots in, and we've not eaten any damage yet, so that is really nice for this later stage of the game. It means we can just trade a shot and then put our 3 shots in, and just use your hit points like that, which is always nice when you come to that later stage and you do have a little bit of hit points left, which isn't always the case. So we're on 3,600 damage. We've got a bit of a track assistance, a little bit of spot assistance, and we picked up a kill. But we've turned this game around into a more winnable position now. We are 2 tanks up. We've spotted an enemy medium in front of us. We've tracked him in place. We should be able to get our full clip off in this situation while being hulled down, putting us up to 4,600 damage. And now we just need to wait for our reload before we can take out this medium, and then go on to see if we can take out the enemy heavy Tiger to our left. So we're on the reload. We're looking to try and get this damage in. We get he actually rams us. We pick up damage and we pick up the kill. Now we're going to poke and just double tap our 2 shots into the Tiger. Like I say, we're still healthy, so it doesn't matter if we lose any hit points now. But it looks like the Tiger's actually shooting HE at us. So now I'm just going to push in, just wait for my friendly team, my friendly light tankers behind him, to take out this Tiger P, and then we can push to see if we can get any damage in the last 2 tanks. We've had a decent game. We managed to pick up 2 kills, 5,000 damage. Now there is 2 tanks remaining. Whether I can get to them in time before our friendly team does, we don't know yet. But we're going to push over and just hope, really. We spotted this KV, or this KV-13's been spotted. It's full health. I'm just praying he's going to push into a scenario where I can get the shots in. Because I've got potential to get 6k damage here if I get my 3 shots into this tank. But we just got to hope, to be honest with you, that he presents an opportunity for us. So we're going to keep pushing. The other tank destroyer left is a E25. So Aussie has very good camo and fast firing pea shooter essentially. So we're going to keep pushing to see if we can get any shots into this medium. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to be possible at the moment. But we snapshot that one into the E25 when it gets spotted. That's just the filth of the accuracy in the game at the moment. Putting this on to 3 kills. Now, it doesn't really look like I'm going to get any more out of this game, which I don't. But that brings us an end to the second replay and the end of the video. So let's just see how we got on. We got 3 kills, 5,365 damage, 1,000 assistance. We got the ace tanker, we got the high caliber. And yeah, that is it for the video. So thank you so much for watching. And as always, happy tanking.
Enemy in sight! Hadouken!